Now I'm like everybody else. I hate sometimes, okay? When I get a product and I have in my mind that I don't like it, sometimes I don't like it no matter what they do. And one device I've always done that to is the ONN streaming stick. Now, you guys hate that I hate it. You don't like that I hate it. You disagree with me. But I have my reasons, and I've found middle ground. I said it's a good, cheap device. However, this is the upgraded 2024. Technically, it came out in 2023, but we got it in 2024. Big shout out to Cord Cutters LI for sending it to me. It's only available in the States, and it's like impossible to get in Canada. So that's right, I've spent over market price in order to be able to review this for you guys. And I will give you my honest, no frill opinion. I'm going to wipe out all the hate I have for the ONN Box 1, the ONN Box 2, and we're going to see how this stands up not only by itself, but to other devices. Of course, looking at the price, what comes with it, the quality, the speed, all that stuff, combined into one simple review. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button right down below and let's get into it. So let's start by looking at the new device. And one thing I immediately noticed was how shitty the cardboard packaging is. Like, this is the cheapest cardboard. It's almost like it's paper. It's crazy how easy it rips apart. Now with it, you get a few accessories. You of course get the main device. You get an HDMI adapter that allows you to extend it, a lot like what you get with the Fire Stick. Also get your power cable, and then of course your remote, and luckily it still comes with 2 batteries. Now this device has had a bit of a redesign, so you're going to notice that it's a little bit more squared off now, a lot closer to what a Fire Stick looks like, and I'll even show you side by side of the Fire Stick with the ONN streaming stick, and then of course you can also see what all 3 kind of look like. But yeah, it's a little bit more squared off, and it's just a tiny bit smaller than a Fire Stick. Otherwise, nothing has really changed. I don't know why they didn't switch to USB-C, but my guess is it's probably just cheaper to stick with USB micro, so that probably makes sense for them. Now, one major reason I have shit on this device in the past is because of the specs for the price point. I just always thought the Fire Stick was a slightly better deal. But with these new specs and these new slight upgrades, that might have just changed. Now, starting off with the operating system, basically they have gone and they've upgraded to the Android 12, but it's not just any Android 12, it's Android 12 with that Google TV skin. So it looks very similar to the Google Chromecast TV in a lot of ways. Now, one big knock on basic Fire Sticks like the 3rd generation ones and the Fire Stick Lite is the amount of RAM. It only has 1 gigabyte, and I was actually really surprised to hear that the ONN Streaming Stick 2 is going to be loaded with 1.5. So they have given it at least a slight little upgrade. Now, I don't think that gives it the power edge, which we're going to look at in a few seconds, but it definitely improves it from the previous model. As well, it comes equipped with a new processor, which is the S805X2 processor, which clocks in at 1.8 gigahertz. And I was actually surprised to learn that's the same chip that was used in the Google Chromecast HD. Now, it still only has 8 gigabytes of overall storage, but that's pretty standard for most of these streaming sticks and even Android TV boxes. In combined, you're going to see an average performance increase of around 10%. Now, we're going to focus on the CPU benchmark score provided by AFTV News. And you can see that the single core use is around 652 and the multi-core is 1830. And that's only slightly less than what you get out of the brand new box for $5 more, of course. But it's really not that much less than what you get out of a Fire Stick, 50 less and around, 200 for the multi-core. So yes, the Fire Stick will still perform better, the 3rd generation or higher, but it's really not that far away. And of course, one thing we definitely have to account for is price. And this is just priced right. They didn't raise the price at all. Initially, this was a $25 device when they first released it, like years ago. But now it's only $14.88, and all those upgrades come at the exact same price. Now, the resolution is still capped at 1080p, but to be honest, unless you're getting a Max or like one of the top devices or like a Chromecast 4K, they are as well. So it's not that different when you really think of it. It still has HDR and it still has all the customizable settings. Now I'm going to ask you, is this a Google Chromecast TV that I'm on right now? Is this my Chromecast TV or is this the ONN streaming stick? And honestly, it was really hard for me to tell the difference. These are the exact same devices almost in every single way, but the Chromecast TV is twice the price. So for me in the past, when I haven't recommended it, the Android 10 system was kind of sloppy and it looked terrible. It was a weak device, but they've legitimately improved it to the point where I don't know if it's actually worth not getting it compared to a Chromecast HD. This is definitely much better than it. And in fact, when we look at value, this in fact is probably better than your standard Fire Stick as well. So there's one underrated factor that a lot of people miss when they review the ONN streaming box and stick, and it's the remote. And the reason for that is because when we look at two of its competitors, two of the devices that I consider in its field, the Chromecast TV and the Fire Stick, their remotes aren't very good. So the Fire Stick remote is very, very similar to the ONN streaming stick remote almost in every single way. So they have the shortcut buttons, they have a mute function, a volume up and down. I guess the Fire Stick is missing even a couple that this one have, but it doesn't have, you know, that quick rewind, quick fast forward that the Fire Stick remote has. But it still has like, instead of an Alexa button, it has a Google button for a Google Assistant. And then in terms when we look at the Chromecast remote, I've never been a fan of the Chromecast remote. I think it's one of the worst developed ones. But the overall quality, they're basically the same, right? Same quality, plastic. Now, if we're talking about the Fire Stick Pro remote that you have to pay $40 for, more than almost 3 of these devices, then sure, this remote is better. But the standard remote that comes with it, kind of underrated. Now, in terms of bad, well, the worst part that I consider is the fact that I've had 2 of the ONN streaming boxes break on me. And I'm not talking about break on me with light use, but it's been, you know, I've used it for a total of 50 hours. And then all of a sudden it won't boot up. It boot loops or something goes wrong with it. So I think that is a major thing to account for. This isn't the best made device. You know, they don't have engineers trying to develop this to be the longest lasting. No, this is something they threw together with different parts because they wanted to create a streaming device. So now the real question is this something I can finally recommend to my subscribers? And honestly, the answer is yes. I think I'm over the fact that it's just a really poorly thrown together device, but people seem to really like it. And for the price, when we're talking about $15, which is the price of grabbing a quarter pounder from McDonald's now, it actually has good value. We can still install all the free streaming apps. For me, it really is a question of whether you prefer Amazon's ecosystem or if you're okay with the Google-based cheaper system, because the Fire Sticks do go on sale and you can get them for pretty close to that price depending on the time of year, if we're talking about the Lite or the 3rd generation. So it's just a matter of those 2 factors and which one you really want. So thanks for watching today, guys. I'll be doing more videos on the ONN streaming stick, showing you how to update it, showing you some different features. So if you like that kind of content, hit that subscribe button right down below. I'll check you guys in the next one.